I'm recording. All right, here we go. Adam's pure blood Seedline scroll. God created Adam and Eve, formed Adam from the dust, took Eve from the rib. We have a blue Seedline, red Seedline. We have pre-Adamic man. I'm going to talk to you about that. Should include Orientals, Negroids. Okay. We come down to the war of all wars because Adam and Eve beget Abel, and Satan and Eve beget Cain, and then we have the war that comes, and of course it was a one-man war in those days. Cain killed Abel, Satan's seed. Okay, so now we have Seth substitute, like kind after like kind, and we have the lineage progeny coming off of Seth, and I want you to look at those names very carefully because I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you how Satan's seed line very nearly matched the names of the Seth seed line. You have Enoch the same, Lamech the same, Methuselah almost like a Methusael, and Mahalalel very much like a Majael. Satan used these names to confuse the lineage of the pure white Adamic seed race as they moved about the earth. Okay, so we have Cain. Unlike kind gives a mongrel. I spelled it wrong on the sheet there. I'm going to have to do that. Okay. Cain is the foreshadow of Jewry, false gods, religions, political systems, and economic systems, which Satan loves to control. Satan's fallen angels seduce some Adamic women, creating giants, the Nephilim, and we have others, such as Goliath, and there was one, Og. Adam man, Adam woman, mixed with the offspring of Cain. And then we have the flood. So we come over here. Now the flood was not a worldwide flood. It was in the Great Flood is a joke. It was in the Tarim Basin of eastern China. The reason we know that, because I'm going to show you right here. Location of the Garden of Eden was in the Tarim Basin. Okay, I'll let you do that. I don't need to tell you. And another reason we know that the worldwide flood didn't occur, which isn't on here, is that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built, some say by Enoch, or under Enoch's tutelage, and that was long before the flood. Therefore, there would have been watermarks on that, or inside when they finally opened it up. But we have a civilization time chart, and these civilizations existed before, during, and after the flood. Okay, what's my point here? We got a dual seed line, and I'm going to get you to read this. Most Adamite, Hebrew, Christian Israelites don't care about their heritage or responsibilities. They've been blinded. So now you know. What are you going to do about it? Now you know that if you're white, if you're white, and especially if you're Christian, you have an awesome responsibility as being one of God's chosen people, His peculiar people, His most high. You are not grafted into the olive tree. You are an inheritor. Okay, the reasons for the flood we know. The Bible tells us so. To maintain Adam's pure blood seed line. I'm going to get out of the light here so you can see that. I'm going to do it from below. Okay. And that is to... Okay. So they all come off the ark. The church is going to tell you that Ham's offspring, Cain, ended up being the black races of the earth. Patently false. Your preacher is an ignorant fool. Pre-Adamic man consisted of males, negroids, and even whites who mixed with those people long before Adam was formed from the dust of the earth. Okay, after Noah, through Shem, we have Eber, which ended up becoming called Hebrew. The offspring of Eber were all then Hebrews. Peleg, the continents were divided. We can see how nicely the east coast of Africa would fit into the west coast of Africa would fit into the east coast of continental Americas. Okay, then we have God picking Abraham as his chosen of all the men on the planet Earth to assure his plan of redemption for Adam and because Adam had a liaison with Satan as well as Eve did. The Bible tells us so. And then we have Adam, Abraham, Isaac. Isaac and Rebekah have Jacob. And Satan and Rebekah have Esau. And the reason we know that is because Esau, as is Cain, is not in the lineage or genealogies noted in the Bible, which is not typical of firstborn of sons. And we know that Esau was firstborn. We know that Cain was the firstborn. They were fraternal twins, each of them, Cain with Abel and Esau with Jacob. And we know that Esau come out red and hairy. The Jewish Encyclopedia of 1925 says that Jewry is Esau, therefore we know it's satanic. And we know that communism has adopted the color red as its banner, not only with its hammer and sickle, but the Rothschilds, the dynasty that has lasted, the financial dynasty has lasted on this planet Earth for more than 400 years and controls the world's money supply and the gold, are Satan's seeds of Satan who have mongrelized with the white race to fortify their genes, because the Jew has a genetic disposition to have 25 diseases that the white race does not have, cannot have, will never have unless they marry a Jew and have children with them. Okay, we have the house of Judah, we have the house of Israel. These were separated after King David united the kingdoms, the tribes. It only lasted 40 years, and Solomon, as a result of his apostasy, his whoring around with women, couldn't keep his pecker in his pants, and took on the false gods and idolatry, resulted in the separation of the kingdoms and them warring with each other like we've been doing ever since then, and the Jew just loves it. Loves the whites fighting amongst ourselves. We have the house of Judah, which was going to spawn the Christ. And we have the northern house of Israel taken captivity by the Assyrians, ultimately moving to Europe, first identified as they left Israel as Scythians or Scythians, subsequently became the nations of Europe. And that includes those Mediterranean countries, Greece, Spain, Italy, Portugal, Belgium, France, all the Scandinavian countries, Poland. A little marginal there, that could be the sons of Japheth. And of course, then they moved to America, forming the first Christian nation, contrary to the lies that they'll tell you. We have the King James Bible before that. 1611 version had the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha was removed because it tells a story and closes the gap between the 400-year gap in the Bible between Malachi at the end of the Old Testament and Matthew, the beginning of the New. And it has some prophetic word in there. It talks about the house of Israel moving north through the Caucasus Mountains and forming a land in the wilderness. And so it's a proof positive that the house of Israel is we white Christian Adamic peoples. Okay, what are the problems of Jewry? Well, we have lots. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to show you all. We have secret societies. We have them handling the international Jew bankers who control our lives every day, and they control the media. And we have all these organizations. We have Judeo-Christianity, which is a blasphemy. Judaism and Christianity have nothing to do with one another because communism is Jewry. We have the Jewish Defense League. We have the B'nai B'rith, the Anti-Defamation League. We have the Kehillah. No one's heard of it. No white person has heard of it. It is the Jewish network worldwide where they can communicate and protest and send thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in the street overnight to protest whatever they want to protest. I'm a millennialist. We have Armageddon coming someday. We have the Mark of the Beast coming. We have Jews hating the Constitution, hating America, only to bleed it dry as the parasites they are, taking from the productivity. Okay, we have nationality, not a race. These are the great nations of Europe, and they are all white, Adamic Hebrew Israelite peoples, and we are called by many names, and we are called by a lot of bad names because they hate us. Again, Christian, the only founded Christian America, the only founded Christian nation, declared by the Supreme Court in 1892. Okay, we have the United Nations, a satanic subversive organization to all white peoples of the earth. And we're going to be nuked. And Jesus is never going to Israel. Israel will be utterly destroyed, praise God. And we can't wait for that day. I would hope that we would help our cousins, the Persians, our racial cousins, the Persians, to develop the nuclear weapon that they so need to destroy Israel, because they're the only ones with the cojones to do it. And that will bring about ultimately peace on the earth, especially if we get rid of the Jew in the United States of America, which is my primary mission by these messages. And with that, I'll part.